Hello girls and boys, I hope you are well and I hope that you have had a wonderful day. Excuse me, oh dear, got a bit of a tickle in my throat. Well, here we go. We're going to start our bedtime story, and our story today comes from this book again. It's called The Big Alfie Out of Doors Storybook, and if you can remember from last time, it's written by a lady called Shirley Hughes. And all the stories in this book are about this little boy called Alfie and this little girl called Annie Rose. And today's story is called Shop, Shop, Shop. And Alfie's going to make a shop in the garden because it's an outside storybook. So the stories all take place outside. So are you comfortable and are you ready? Are your ears open and ready to listen? And are you nice and still, ready for today's story? So here we go. Shop by Shirley Hughes. In Alfie's back garden, there was a big bush. You could lift up a curtain of leaves and walk inside. It was a nice little place. One afternoon, Mummy gave Alfie a long cardboard box to play with. He took it into the bush and put it down on its side. It made a good counter for the shop. And you can see him there with Annie Rose. She's having a look to see what her big brother Alfie is doing. Let's turn the page. Then Alfie and Annie Rose looked around the garden for something to sell in the shop. They found plenty of things lying about. They found flower petals, seed pods, acorn cups, and lots of different kinds of leaves. They laid them out on the counter using some very big leaves as plates. They pretended they had vegetables and crisps and sweets and ice creams in their shop. Not the kind you can really eat, of course. Oh, and toys too. When everything was nicely arranged, Alfie decided what the shop needed now was some money. He fetched a little brown box with a lid, and they collected a lot of flat greenish yellow seeds, which rattled inside like real money. Mum and Grandma were sitting in the garden having a cup of tea. Alfie asked them if they were going to come to buy something at the shop. Yes, of course, said Grandma. But what's the name of your shop? Is it the Alfie and Annie Rose General Store? No, said Alfie. It's called Lewis Burrows and Company. He knew that there was a proper shop called that in the High Street. Alfie put on his peaked cap to open up the shop, and Annie Rose wore an apron to be Mr. Lewis Burrows' assistant. There they are, all ready to serve the customers in their shop. Then Grandma and Mum came to do some shopping. First they bought some cabbages and ice cream. Then they bought lettuce and crisps and a model helicopter and a doll's tea set. Mr. Lewis Burrows took the money and counted out the change, and his assistant handed things over the counter. The shop stayed open all afternoon. When it was time to go indoors, Mum made a nice notice and fixed it with string so that Alfie could hang it up outside the shop. On one side it said open, but when you turned it round it said closed. Even Mr. Lewis Burrows had to go to bed sometimes, I expect, said Mummy. So there are the signs, open or closed. And at the end of the day, they've put the sign up to say, the shop is closed. And that's the end of that little story. I hope you enjoyed that. Maybe now, as the weather is starting to get a bit better again, you might like to make a shop too. You don't need to have big things from your house. You can go on a little walk or a little hunt in the garden or by the field outside. And you can go and see if you can find some things that you can use as pretend items for your shop. Maybe you've got an old box that you can turn over and make into a counter, or maybe you've got a table that you could put outside, and even maybe you could put a cover over the front of it to make it look grand. Then you could make yourself an open and closed sign, and you could pop it up by your shop. You might even like to make some little notices to say how much things cost. You might write 5p, 50p, £1, or anything, any amount that you like. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I liked reading that one to you. So it's time now to say goodnight and to go to sleep, or at least to get ready for bed. So have you got your pyjamas on, or whatever you wear for bed? Have you been to the toilet for the very last time? And have you cleaned your teeth? Did you see what I did there? I turned it around, did it in a different order to normal, but it's still the same 3 things. Well, if you've done all those things, then you'll be ready for bed. So I hope you have a wonderful sleep. I'm sure you will. Have a big, big dream and a wonderful, wonderful sleep, and you'll wake up refreshed and ready for tomorrow. So it's time to say goodbye and good night. So from my house to your house, good night, girls and boys. Thank you for listening. Bye.